we know what we want to do, right? We know that we can do it. We know that we're capable. We know that we have the time to do it, and we still don't do it. Let me yammer on about that, and then maybe we walk away with a good old-fashioned ADHD workaround. Who knows? You are listening to ADHD Big Brother, the podcast for adults struggling with their ADHD, their comorbid depression, their anxiety. Oh, it's just a hoot. I'm your host and your ADHD Big Brother, Russ Jones. I've got ADHD too. I've got depression as well. It's crap-tastic. So let's learn some stuff. Let's laugh at some stuff. Let's make some commitments to do some stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, here's some stuff. Welcome to the podcast. Hi, how you doing? Hi, how are you doing today? Oh my God. This is a solo episode. It's just you and me today. I hope that's not weird. It's not weird for me. I'm totally cool with this. Like, what are we doing today? Are you driving to work? Are we doing the dishes? Am I helping you get through that? Are we doing like a podcast body double situation? I am good with all those scenarios. Let me just get through the business and the mental health stuff, and then I'll give you the meat and potatoes of this sucker. In the ADHD Big Brother biz world, I have a 12-week program that I've been building, and I appreciate everybody that reached out and that helped me validate it. It's going to untangle you. It's going to get you unstuck. It's going to get you consistent, which will build confidence. And then you walk away with a blueprint for yourself to get unstuck on your own. Coach yourself. How's that? Does that sound good? What do we call it? Like, confidently consistent. The consistency machine. I don't know. The name TBD, but it's got a sweet outcome. And it's a 12-week process, about 3 months. I like this idea for a program to get in and get out. Change my oil. Get in there, get tuned up, and then, let me go off on my own, see if I can make it 5,000 miles on my own. And then if I need to, I'll come back and be like, hey, there's this new rattle in my skull spaghetti that I need, looked at. That's how I think this should work. So if that's of interest to you guys, click on the link in the show notes and I'll tell you more. Sound good? Good. Alrighty, let's move on to the mental health report. We'll do this one quick. This is where I expose my skull spaghetti to you. You knew this was coming. This is us. You and me, together. We're normalizing talking about our mental health. We're not always fine. Quite rarely so, I believe. So let's just talk about the good, the bad, the weird. Get it out there. Here's me. I am currently feeling much better. Last month sucked, as I mentioned. I'm seeing the world in a much more sunshine and cupcakes type of lens. Even though the world, right? Even though this world, our world at the moment, even though that, I'm feeling more positive. Not necessarily about the world, but about what I'm doing here on the planet. So I'm leaning into that. Feelings-wise, I've been dealing with anxiety, typically towards the end of the day. And I think, man, I don't know how many of you guys are solopreneurs out there. Anxiety tends to, I believe, come with the package. Yes, you get to be your own boss. But yes, you also have to deal with anxiety. So it's a hoot. But I recently discovered a guided meditation on Insight Timer. That's the app that I use. No big promo for it. It's just, pick whatever app you need. And there was a meditation that kicked butt in there. It's called the Morning Breathwork for Anxiety. And the guide is Francesca Chiamolera. I knew I wasn't going to be able to say it without laughing. I didn't want to make a joke about it, but it kind of sounds like a disease from overeating chia seeds. Or maybe no, it's the medication that you take, Chiamolera. That's the medication you take. Ask your doctor if Chiamolera is right for you. Anyway, I will tell you this. It took my anxiety from feeling like I was going to have a panic attack to being calm, collected, totally cool. So anyway, highly recommend that. Just breath work in general seems to be quite effective. Do you guys have a breathwork thing that you recommend? Email me. Let me know. I'm interested. How are you doing? Share it with me. Tell me. Let me know. I'll hold space for you. Would you like me to hold space? About 100 square foot of space I could hold. I will hold a nice, a comfortable office-sized space for you and your world and your emotions. How are you doing? How are you? Oh my God, I'm an idiot. I'm in a giggly mood right now because Emily and I, we went and saw Sheng Wang in Thousand Oaks. He's a comedian doing stand-up. Is probably some of the best written and performed stand-up comedy that I've seen in a long time. It was rad. So I don't know if you guys know of Sheng Wang, but he's touring right now. So you should check him out. It's, nobody asked me to promo it. It's just Sheng Wang is a mood booster. That is a Russ Jones guarantee. Alrighty, now for some meat and potatoes. What do we do when we're stuck in the mud? It's not rhetorical. I'm asking you, what do we do? I'm in the mud. Help me. No, sometimes there's so many things going on internally that like we're paralyzed, right? Whatever, ADHD, depression, we're stuck in the mud. We have feelings. We've got our traumas. We've got doubts. We've got our shitty mindsets going on. All these things keep us neck deep in mud. It's really hard to move. And sometimes the idea is like, well, okay, if I could just get rid of all this mud, if there was no mud, then I could walk freely towards my goals, like towards these important things, right? My passions, my purpose, towards my future. Let me just work on getting rid of all this mud. I have no idea how this metaphor is going to play out. It makes so much sense for me. So let's see. You can tell me if it doesn't. But how much time does it take to get on the other end of life shit, right? Trauma stuff. I relate it in terms of my own depression. If I could just find some hope or motivation, if I could clear my pool of all this mud, then man, I could fly. And I wonder if any of us have lives where we can't wait for all these things to be like, quote unquote, good to move forward. That would doom me. I still have to move forward. In my depressiest of depresso, ADHD riddled moments, ideally I would just waste away in bed. That's what I want. But that's not helping. I still have imposter syndrome like crazy. I still don't feel good enough. But if I waited to win this losing battle with my mind before I moved forward, I would be so screwed. I'd be really screwed. My theory, and I say theory because this was a hypothesis that I tested on myself, and it works. Test it for yourself. You see if it works. But my belief is that if we are neck deep in mud, in the center of this pool of mud, rather than trying to scoop out all these handfuls of mud to empty the pool, what if we took one step forward? And that step is going to be hard. It's going to be slow. I mean, we're neck deep in mud. Have you ever walked in neck deep in mud? It's fucking hard to move. So like, it's not going to be what you're capable of. It'll probably take 10 times longer than a regular step, but like you're aiming at the edge of the pool, you're moving one step. You know what happens is you get closer to the edge. It becomes more shallow over time. I'm talking about, we're building here, it's like a YMCA swimming pool of mud. So it's, how it gradually gets more shallow. I'm not talking about like a meteor struck and it's like a deep, instant neck deep in mud. No, you can gradually get out of the mud. And if you have any experience in mud travel, you'll know that a person who is waist deep in mud moves much faster than a person who's neck deep in mud, right? Because you can use your hands to propel you to like scoop at the mud as you're going. And if you're ankle deep in mud, like now we're talking, that's momentum. Perfectionism, it's a good example here of like leading us to neck deep in mud. ADHDers, we're like these multiverse people. Like we can lay out all the variables mentally to try to figure out how to do a thing right with no errors. You know that saying is like measure twice and cut once, which is great. And that makes sense. But like, what if you're like building a house and you're like, okay, measure 536,000 times, cut once. You're never going to make that cut. I did the math. I'm sorry. If it takes 30 seconds to properly measure, that comes out to 4,467 hours. Yeah. And many of us have jobs, we have lives to live and sleep. So I say best case scenario, right? You have 2 hours a day, maybe. That means it's going to take you 6.1 years before you make the cut. What am I trying to say here? I'll say this. I'm for perfectionism with caveats, of course. We're capable of these great things. We have high standards because we know who we are at our greatest. We know what we could do, right? We can see what we can do. And so then, but rather than be impaired by that, what if we use that to point our compass and then we take a step forward in the mud? And it's going to be shitty. We're going to be insecure about it. It's going to be sucky step for sure. Yeah. That's why it's helpful not to do it alone. And especially at first, like get whatever help you need to get out of the mud. And then once you're out, then off you go, right? Cruising, course correcting, checking in with yourself, iterating, all that cool stuff. And then when you trip and fall into another mud pit, it won't be as bad because you have like the tools to move forward. And then the big thing is you've learned that being in the mud doesn't mean that we're a big piece of shit loser that can't do stuff. It's we're an ADHDer who's currently having a flare up. The ADHD rash is just temporarily really itchy. And we just need a metaphorical cream. Big deal. Get a coach. Done. All right. My vote is that while you are in therapy, while you are working on your various traumas or your various imposter syndromes or your depressive funks or your anxiety, panicky times, carve out a little bit of time, just like fuck it time, right? Fuck it. I'm going to move forward. Even though all this other garbage in the world, you might be surprised at the confidence that you feel, like the boost into self-esteem. There's a lot of holistic benefits to this work, you guys. And then you use your ADHD tools to get started on that big muddy step. Got to use those tools. The pushback is always like, I can't. And I'm like, yeah, right. You can't. I agree with you. Apply the tools. If you're like, well, what are the tools? I have a curated list of 8 episodes that'll give you some tools. You can check that out. Link in the show notes. But that step, that one big shitty step repeated is going to change the course of your entire life. That's a bold claim. Game changer. Ultra transformation. We'll see. Try it out. Let me know how it goes. All righty. Here's my question/challenge to you. Is like, what is the thing that you're stuck on? What is one step that you can take to get you out of that mud pool? Even though all the other stuff, the feelings and the pain and the heartache and the drama, even though all of that, even though you're working on that, what's your one step? And if you need help with that step, I am your Obi-Wan Kenobi of even though. I'm an even though be Kenobi. If I can move my needle forward in the dark abyss of a depressive episode, you can do it too. It's tiny, it's sucky, it's muddy, it's gross. But man, the nap that you earned when when you're in a depressive episode, nothing beats a nap after you take that step. Oh, it's so well earned. Oh my God. You're like, I did a thing. Now I'm going back to bed. So good. Anyway, reach out if you need help. Links are in the show notes. And if you guys could do me a favor, if you're getting value out of this podcast, would you be so kind as to share this? Click on the share button on whatever podcast platform you're listening to and share it with the people that you think might get some value out of it. That would mean the world to me, and I appreciate you. Thank you. And with that, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I shall talk to you later.